Rick Grant with Paper Wings Music here. The question for today is it hard to write music for a sports drama like Moneyball? Well, it doesn't have to be. So, what I've done is I've taken the track from Moneyball, The Mighty Rio Grande, which go listen to that if you want to hear it, which is just such a classic sports movie sound. It really sounds amazing. Um, Basically taking that as inspiration and seeing how easy it is to write a song that's very similar to it, kind of using the same instruments, using the same style, seeing how close we can get while still doing our own composition. Um, and actually, it wasn't that hard, and there isn't that much going on in here. So, with that being said, let me show you a small piece of the song that I wrote, and we can talk about how I went constructing it. And if you want to hear the whole song with the music video that I made, kind of a little mini documentary about the pitcher, Sandy Koufax, then link up top and in the description if you want to go see that. Okay, I think you got the idea. So let's just start off with what comes in first and so on. I listened to the song The Mighty Rio Grande. And when you're listening, if you pay attention, um, there's not really that much going on. And actually, most of the time, I find that we do tend to do too much, anyways. And for this kind of setting the tone, like the beginning of Moneyball, where you're seeing the tunnel where the players come out, when you're seeing the field and you're seeing the empty locker room with the silence. So first, I just grabbed some room tone. So that's not even a musical thing. That's just in the background. So that's just this. Just got a little bit of room tone, and I have that throughout, although it fades in, and then as soon as other instruments come in, then it fades down a little bit so it's not too overpowering. Then the very next thing that happens is I create a pedal tone. And I created a pedal tone through a few things. I use Spitfire intimate strings, which is this one right here. Spitfire Media Toolkit, which I used the guitar, but I used only the pad part of the guitar. And then I used Opus Forbidden Planet 2077 to create this kind of bass pedal tone. So isolated, that starts off like this. And that's it. So it's just creating that kind of atmosphere at the beginning. The intimate strings, obviously, it's a softer ensemble of strings, so it isolated like this. Very nice and a gentle build. The Media Toolkit, I really liked the breathiness of it, kind of have some air moving. So that sounds like this. Shh. Has a shimmer on top. Magical. And then Forbidden Planet 2077, this is my synth to kind of give it some oomph. But I mixed it all together so it wouldn't sound like a synth. You know, that's just giving it a character to it. So that is our pedal tone. And then shortly after that, our guitars come in. And the guitar is the main character of this piece. As is with a lot of sports dramas, I think guitar is a very iconic instrument to use. And you can use a lot of different kinds of guitars. So the first guitar that I use is the Opus 56B lead. One has a delay on it, one does not. The main melody has a delay on it. The kind of harmony with it, second guitar, does not have a delay. That otherwise it's like too much going on. So together that sounds like this. So with this we have a really nice guitar sound, kind of in between there. It's not too electric. I think it does sound a little intimate in my opinion. I feel like I can hear those plucks. I feel like I'm sitting fairly close to somebody playing the guitar. So that makes for a nice ambiance when you're doing something kind of sentimental. Then as we continue, we have the second phrase. And then right here we have basically more of the pad, more of the pedal tone, but now I'm just getting a higher register to fill it out. So that sounds like this. We have the low register here, and this is the higher register. So that's filling out the sound there and kind of getting a little bit bigger. And down here, we have our percussion starts to come in. And we're using both Albion Colossus drum kit and Spitfire original cinematic percussion. So right here, you will hear the cymbal swell here, or cymbal crash. And then your drum kit starts building energy. So I like that. That's just the bass drum going. And then I bring in, this is all still doing the same stuff. And then I have the hi-hat starts coming in. And that all builds into this kind of mini climax. So you hear those drums started going, consistently, and the velocity gets louder as they go. So you feel that energy build, and then on the next section here, you hear, cymbal crash and an earthquake hit, and the new drum section starts. So yeah, nice entrance into the next section, which I'm not doing a whole lot of variation here from place to place, more just building. There is some variation, but most of this is just building it bigger and then going back down, because the structure of this whole piece it starts off very intimate, starts to get larger, it gets to its biggest point, and then on the way out, it starts to build back down. So now, from here, we have all the drums going in this section. Pads still going. Then right here, this is where we keep those same guitars going, but now we add our electric guitar on top of it. So these I'm getting from Albion Colossus Guitars Long. So I have the same thing from before playing, with these new electric guitars on top, kind of doing their own thing as well. And our drums here have an alternate kind of build up here into this next section. Sounds like this. So you hear how with all of that layered together now we have a pretty full piece. It does get larger one more time, and larger maybe is not the right word. More movement happens in the next section, but you see a lot more percussion happening. If you wanted to hear just what the percussion is doing, isolate that. So you have all that going on. Percussion's fun to do. I'm not a percussionist, but and a lot of times I have to kind of create a lot of pieces of it to make sure I'm getting the sound that I want. But then we have our biggest part right here with the most, let's say, movement and motion. We build up into that last one, which is basically just the guitar is playing a little faster. So you can hear that boom, 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 boom. Small note on that, depending on your plugin, depending on the instrument you're using. I did, with the delay on these guitars, I did have to, for some reason they sounded late when they were on time, on the track. So I had to make them slightly early, and then that made it sound more on time. So that was an odd thing. So just keep an eye out for that. But other than that, after that happens, after that whole section finishes, then we go back down. And I have everything fading. And then I just have some room tone left over. And actually in the video, we needed a little musical stinger for the title at the end. So actually I put that way at the beginning over here. So this was retrospectively, I just needed this when there's a title at the end that says, they called him the left arm of God, Sandy Koufax, the pitcher. This plays when that pops up. Which kind of just gave that like intensity, that heavy, that reverence, like, oh. It's like quiet but powerful, so you're like, ooh, yeah. So that is my piece here. I hope you liked it. Like I said, it's not that difficult. There's not that many elements in here. It's just like 2 types of guitars. And most of this, I have one of them has a delay and the melody usually does not. So it's just 2 types of guitars. Strings and synths for pads, another octave of pads, and then my percussion, just being elements here and there, but the drum kit kind of telling us how much energy is in each part. The percussion is a really good tool to kind of like spoon feed the listener. This part is more important, or this part is bigger, this part is softer. So it's very helpful for that. And that's pretty much it. So let me know if you think we hit pretty close to the MoneyBall song, The Mighty Rio Grande. Wasn't written for the movie. They used that. It's from a band, actually, by This Will Destroy You. So yeah, let us know if you think we got close and kind of got that classic sports movie vibe. And hopefully this helped. See you later.